to make mousse au chocolat, we need some chocolate. I use a Valrhona 71%. So the first thing to do is to grab a bowl and your chocolate, and we're going to cut that chocolate into pieces. So to do that in a clean way, I just leave the wrapper on and I snap it in the paper, and each square separated, each square cut in two. Very easy, very simple, and very fast. Here we are. So my chocolate is ready. I'm now going to put it in my bowl. And here, half of it, and the second half. No, one little piece left. So then this chocolate, I am going to add on top of it my butter. For 3.5 ounces of chocolate, you're going to need 1.5 ounces of butter. I recut it in smaller pieces. My butter is not cold from the fridge. It was here about outside on the counter about an hour ago. And this is done. And I am going now to melt those two ingredients together. There is two ways to do it. The harder way and the easiest way. Guess which one I chose? The easiest. The easiest is with the microwave. If I put my chocolate like this with the butter on in the microwave, in about 30 seconds, my butter is going to melt. The hot butter is going to melt in turn my chocolate without a risk of burning it. So very simple. Usually you will need, depending on your microwave, anywhere between 30 seconds and a minute. I like to work in increments, so you don't get a chance to burn your chocolate. So I will put this in the microwave and I will be back in a second. So today I decided to add a little more flavor to my mousse au chocolat. So Cointreau, yes, I like Cointreau, I know. I did put it in the crepes, and well, it's also the first bottle that I reach when I open the liquor cabinet, and it's tasty. So Cointreau and chocolate work well. If you want to stay without alcohol, you can add a little coffee extract. You can add a little grated orange rind. You can add, I don't like vanilla with the chocolate, so this is not an option I would use, but orange blossom is good with chocolate, orange blossom water, so many options. My microwave finished its job, so I'm going to go get my chocolate. Okay, here we are. So I'll show you the result. My chocolate is not completely melted. My butter is melted, but using a whisk or a spatula, I'm going to help it melt better. And it might need an extra 10 seconds from the feel of it. So I'll be right back. Here we are. So back with my whisk, melting this chocolate, which now melts very easily. So, oh, I didn't tell you which one was the harder version. The harder version would be on a double boiler. So double boilers are a thing that you can buy, but in fact, I have some, but I hate them. I don't like to use them. I think they are not so convenient. So whenever I need a double boiler, I use the very same bowl, a small saucepan, and I always make sure that the bottom of my bowl is not touching my water. So I get the water boiling, then I put the bowl on top, reduce the temperature, the force of the burner, and here is my double boiler. Very, very easy, simple, nothing else to buy and nothing else to store. So the kind of things I like. Okay, so now my chocolate is melted. I'm going to show you the result. And in my mousse au chocolat, of course, I'm going to put some eggs. But right now my chocolate is warm, so my eggs might curdle quite a lot. So there is a trick which is here. So you see, this is completely melted, beautiful. I'm going to add my sugar in here, and this is going to cool down my chocolate and also my Cointreau first before the egg yolks. So here my sugar, half an ounce of sugar. I use powdered sugar because it melts instantly in my hot chocolate, so the result is better. So sugar inside. I'm going to whisk that in. Okay. Here you are. Okay. And a little Cointreau. So let's say a tablespoon-ish. That's about it. And any flavoring would be about the same quantity. You don't want to be, you don't want the flavoring to overwhelm the taste of your mousse. So very, very beautiful. I mean, I could eat it like this, to be honest. But we're going to add some eggs. So in the mousse au chocolat, there is egg yolks. And not always, but I like it with egg yolks because it makes a much richer mousse au chocolat, which I like that way, and egg white, and this is a constant. And the egg white, we will beat it with my electric hand whisk. You could do it by hand, but it takes forever. And this is what is going to give the texture of the mousse. So here, 3 eggs. My eggs are at room temperature. There is a reason for that. And it is that if my eggs are at room temperature, they will be much easier to separate. So for 3.5 ounces of chocolate, I am going to use 3 eggs, but only 2 egg yolks. Yolks, my egg whites, and we're nearly done. So in my egg whites, I'm going to put a pinch of salt. So here in the US, cream of tartar is used to stabilize the eggs. But in France, we use salt. And that's just what we have been doing since forever. So that's how I do it. Now I'm going to go back to my chocolate ganache. Chocolate, sort of ganache. And I'm going to add my eggs. So one at a time, my egg yolks. And I'm going to whisk that in. And the second one. And in the meantime, with everything we did, my chocolate cream had time to cool. So it doesn't curdle when I add my egg yolks. Here, beautiful. So last thing to do, whisk those egg whites with my pinch of salt. So I'm going to, so this electric hand whisk has different settings. I'm on a low setting, not the lowest, the one just after. And I'm going to keep my whisk down in the bowl so it doesn't go all around. Okay. And we're going to whisk it until it is firm, but not to the point of, when they're over whisked and they break. That wouldn't be good. I'm going to show you. And there is a test to make sure that our egg whites are properly whisked. Okay, and there. Okay, here. Okay, so it's starting to make little drawings on top, and this is what I want. So I think it's ready. And to make sure it is ready, there is a very fun test. And that test is just to take the ball, turn it upside down. I'm even safe enough to put it over my head. So my eggs are ready. So you see they are not breaking. They are still quite soft. And now it's time to incorporate them in the chocolate. And my mousse will be ready here. Add a little of the mousse in here. And this is to fluidify my chocolate cream. Okay, here. And then I'm going to gently fold the rest of my eggs in 2 or 3 batches. So here, and I'm going to slowly fold it in. Okay. And when you cannot see any pieces of white, it's time to add more. So try not to break it down completely. So it's I go up and down, so I kind of rotate my cream to incorporate my eggs. And here. And at the same time, I'm rotating my spatula. So more. I think it's good enough to put everything at this point because it's a small volume of mousse au chocolat. Okay, here we are. And this is it. And I'm going to finish folding that and I will show you how it looks. So mousse au chocolat is good anytime, of course, but it is much better if you take the time to make it before, like at the minimum 2 hours before eating it. If you don't have 2 hours, there is a way to cheat, which is to get it started in the freezer and then put it back in the fridge. It changes a little the consistency though. So the best way, usually, you know, in France, we make it the day before and it is delicious the next day. And so here, still a few white spots. Okay. Well, I think this is it. So, mousse au chocolat, ready. And am I going to lick that spatula? Yes. Well, that's good. And I'm going to fill my ramekins. So that quantity would fill 6 small ramekins or 3 bigger ones. So I use a small ladle and I'm just going to spoon it in the center. So you see the consistency. This is it. And if you give me 1 second, I'll show you how it is the next day. Et voilà, this is it. Fresh and done.